So today, so I'm just we are just slowly getting into the practical things, that setting up your employee central payroll system, the functional
Okay.
point of view. So now, even in the last class, I was just telling you about the terminology and all the other rest of the prerequisites. So now, whenever employee central payroll, is implemented as a consulting team or as a consultant, you have to go and check whether your customer system is prepared to integrate with employee central or not. This is the first question that we should have. What is that we should do? We have to go and check whether if the customer system is prepared in order to integrate with the employee central. So this is the first thing. Otherwise, if it is not done, so we have to go on first complete implementing employee central. So that is why the first question is employee central is already set up. There are certain things as a consulting team or as a consultant we should know. So what is the first thing we should check? If the customer system is prepared to integrate with employee central or not. The first thing is you have to go and check is employee central is already set up or not. If it is not, so you have to go and set up first employee central system. The second question is, if you want to use or if you wanted to use the new features in employee central, so what SAP recommends? SAP recommends that your customer is running the highest support package. Okay. So your customer is running, just a moment. You should also check whether your customer system, which means the customer system here means employee central payroll system. The employee central payroll system, if you wanted to use a new features in order to integrate with the employee central, so what SAP recommends as a best practice? That your customer is running the highest support package for the employee central payroll system. This is the second thing we should go and check it. What is the first thing? The first thing is employee central is already set up or not. The second thing is highest support package has to be enabled for your employee central payroll system. What is the support package? The minimum support package. Where we will find the support package? Who has to upgrade these support packages in your employee central payroll system? Usually it has to be done by the basis people, actually. SAP basis consultants. So you are not the one. But you should check it with your basis team. But as for support package, you should go and operate your employee central payroll system should be operated on we call it as a HR renewal 2.0. The first thing is HR renewal 2.0 has to be enabled on EHP 7 maximum. Okay, not maximum, minimum package, EHP enhancement package. EHP stands for enhancement package. So this is the first thing that you have to go and operate your employee central payroll system. Next one is the support package. So usually the support package, the minimum one, for the first time when the employee central payroll system was introduced, it actually started support package 28. The first one is SP stands for support package. Usually the code is like this, if I'm not mistaken, SAP underscore HR forward slash, I think we will find in the SAP marketplace actually. So it has to be accessed by your corresponding people, not by you. And I think iPhone, or you can use underscore, no problem. And you will use here as a HR 28. So this is actually the minimum package has to be enabled in your for your employee central payroll system. But as for the current version, it is actually maximum. If you wanted to have a full packages, full features of your for your employee central payroll, it should be as for the latest version 67. But I heard the latest one, it has gone up to 72, something like that. But this, if you have almost, it is more than enough. So here the 67, you can put it like let me put it like SP. It's better you if you tell to your basis team like SP28, SP67 is more than enough. You don't need to tell other things like all these and all, not required. So this is the name, that support package 67 is a updated one, the latest one. It has to be implemented, or it has to be, if you want to use what we can say full range of features, you know you have to go and update your EHP support package 67. So this is the second thing. But how to find the support package, how to know the status of your SAP employee central payroll system? So now you see that SAP logon, click on it. So now I'm going to show you the support, the status of your system, where you can find it. So I'm going to log into the system. So the system what I am accessing is EHP8, not EHP7. But here what I said, it should be starting minimum EHP7. Okay, but the system I'm using is a EHP8. So now when you log into the system, so you should go on 1 second. You can see here the status. Here you can see the system at the top of these. There is a window here. When you click on this, you can see the status option. So when you click on this status option, the system opens one window, and you can see here the product version. Can you all see, everybody, that you can send your reply on message option? So you can see there is something like a product version. If you click on this details button, you can see the releases. Actually, you can see 7.750 and all. So as you go and see, why did I say the code as a EAHR, SAP HR? So you can come here and you can find here, you can see EAHR 6.8, 6.8, 6.8, 608 or 608, which means 68. You can see. Okay, so this is the place where you can find installed software component versions. You can see here on the tab, if you come here, installed software component versions. If you come here and make sure EA-HR is enabled or not, you can see here. Okay, but usually these support packages, these are all so many support packages, enhancement packages, or upgraded or installed in the EC payroll. This is exactly your EC payroll system. So EC payroll, in the sense our SAP payroll, you are going to replicate with your employee central front end UI user interface in order to experience your payroll data. So I hope you got it, where to find your packages actually in your SAP system. You got it right, everybody? Everyone got it? Where to find 67, in the sense you will find in the system like a 607. 68 means 608. So you have to go and find out. But if it is not enhanced, you should consult your basis team and inform them to upgrade or with the support packages. So maximum one is 67, and I think as for the latest version it is 72, something like that, but don't worry. But with the 67, you will get all the full range features, which is more than required, more than enough for your employee central payroll integration with a point-to-point replication or point-to-point integration, you can say. So the third thing is, you as a consulting team, as a consultant, you should also find out as a prerequisite whether your as I told you the initially, what did I say? You should go and check if the customer is prepared to integrate your employee central. In the same way, whether your customer system is prepared for employee central payroll with a support package 28 or maximum 67. And also, very, very important note, but actually this important note is also the duty or the role of a basis consultant again. But I'm going to show you what it is. So you have to make sure that there is something you call it as a business functions. There are a lot of business functions you will find for any product in SAP. Okay. In the same way, when you are going to integrate your employee central payroll, with a point-to-point replication, so there is a specific business functions. Actually, there are three business functions. One business function is for master data, another business function is for a time off, another business function is for time sheet. There are three business functions. So now we are not going to worry about the time related business function, time of related business function. Okay, but initially I'm going to tell you the business function which is required for your employee central payroll integration with a point-to-point replication for a master data. MD stands for master data. So but actually these business functions has to be activated by the basis consultants. But we may try to access the code, we may try to go to that particular business function, but remember, if you are unable to activate as a functional consultant, you have to ask your basis team, because prior to enabling sometimes some of the business functions, there are some prerequisites. The backend certain settings has to be performed by the basis team, but still we will go and show you. But remember, this is 100% certification question. The business function I'm going to tell you now, you need to by heart it if you want. If you can remember, no problem, because it is a compulsory certification question. But what is a transaction code? What is a transaction code? In order to access the business functions, I think some of you may be knowing it, or if you want, I think it is a SFW5. SFW5 is a transaction code where you can access your business functions on your SAP system. Okay, but even whatever the technical duty has to be performed, but I'm giving you everything in a systematic and a procedure manner, so that you don't miss any single step. Okay, so these all the things has to be known by as a functional consultant. If not, the basis team, whatever they need to perform, you may not perform, but you should be aware. So now what you need to do is, let us log in again. Sorry. So use a transaction code. I think here we have SFW5 here. Okay, so execute it. So when you can see that, you are going to navigate now directly to the business functions area with the code SFW5. So those who want to know the transaction code for any table that you access, so you need to go, and you can see at the bottom, you can see there is an option here. You can see my cursor transaction, see SFW5. Okay, so I just put that option here. Now here you can see there are so many business functions. You can see here, you can see there are many are there, but here on these are all business functions. This is not your duty. Okay, but you should know, when particular features are not available, when you're not able to do certain things, at least you come and verify whether this planned status section, you can see there is something here, the planned status area. This planned status area, make sure there are some switches, right? There are some switches with a check mark, without a check mark. So the business function which I'm going to tell you, it should be always given a check mark. If not, so you should go on consult your team. But I'm going to show you that. Okay, so now you can see the planned status. So you just go and navigate now. Just a moment. So now you can see that there is something here, enterprise business functions. Here you can see here, right? So expand it. So now you just scroll down slowly and you will find one area with a business function with the HCM. You will find option as a HCM. Just scroll down. I hope you are all following the topic. Right. Right. So let us, you can see here, now you can see there is an option. It started with the business function HCM, right? So now what you have to do is you will find that the business function starts with HCM underscore SFEC. Slowly go with the alphabetical order to the business function HCM underscore SFEC. Now comes the important one. Wait a moment. You can see the business function here, the HCM underscore SFEC underscore MDEC to HR. MD stands for master data. MD stands for master data. From where to where? From Employee Central to HR. You can see the code EC to HR. So this is the business function. You can see HCM services for payroll outsourcing revisable. But this is the code you must remember. MD stands for master data. EC stands for Employee Central to master data Employee Central to HR. You got it, everybody? Clear? The code name, the business function. Yes or no? Yeah, I'm expecting the reply from you. You're there. Nobody is responding. Yeah, thank you. So now I need a response if you respond, so I can know that you are there in the class. Now, when you come this, you please make sure in the planned status section, if you go and see that, you should give a checkbox here. When you give a checkbox here, what you do next thing actually, you need to see there is an option here, activate changes. You know, it has to be actually, as I told you, it should be done by the as I told you, it should be done by the SCP based system, but there is some kind of error will come, but not an issue. Now you can see that when I click on activate changes, you know what will happen immediately? The switch that you wanted, you can see with the arrow marks, right? So whenever you see these arrow marks, that means those are not activated. But whenever you see this, bulb, the option which you can see here, that means those, whenever you see the icons like this, those are indication of those business functions are already activated. But whenever you see this particular option, so it should be activated. So click on activate changes. Now at the bottom, you will get a message that whether the business function is activated or not. So you need to click on activate changes. Then once you click on activate changes, what will happen automatically? This option becomes like this. So it should be always given a checkbox like this. So, but as I told you, it is not your duty as a functional consultant. It has to be done by the basis team. So now there are three things that you came to know actually as a prerequisite you should know. Okay, as a prerequisite that you should know, the one is EC system is already set up or not. The second thing is support packages, SP28, support package 67, and then business functions. What is that business function? You should be able to say by this time HCM underscore SFEC underscore MDEC to HR. It has to be always turned on. Which business functional type here? HCM underscore SFEC underscore MD EC to HR. So this is a compulsory your certification question where you can experience that. So what is the fourth thing? Actually, you should always cross check, or you should prepare your client system. That one is the fourth one is whether SAP GUI is installed or not. I hope you know what it is. So this is the one. So on your computer, the system that you are accessing, the GUI has to be installed. This icon should be there. So if you want to access your EC payroll system, so you should download it. So if you have not download it. So what is the thing that you need to do? If it is not downloaded, you have to go again to the SAP service marketplace and you have to go and download that. Again, it also should be done by the basis team. But if you wanted to install in your own personal computer, okay, you will have some SAP GUI. Those who want, I'll send you. You can install it, and then whenever you are going to access your the client system or your company sandbox and all, so you can directly create here, and then you can go and do whatever the functionalities you're supposed to do. So these are the four important areas that you should be aware every time you are going to implement your employee central payroll with your employee central. Okay, these are the four things. So I hope you got it, and you should be aware, and you should aware about all these and without any confusion. So now the important area is going to come. So what is that we need to do? The next thing is, as I told you even many times, even in the previous classes, saying that first what we need to do, you need to prepare your employee central system for integration. Then what is the second thing I told you? You should prepare your employee central payroll system for your employee central payroll integration. Then third thing, what do we need to do? You are going to integrate your employee central payroll with the point-to-point replication, the objectives in the last class I told you. So now what I am going to explain, now I'm going to tell you. So once it is already done, so you as a functional consultant, or maybe you as a EC consultant, if you know that employee central better, so or otherwise if your client in your client system, if employee central is already implemented, because the first point you should never forget. So now what you need to do, the employee central system which is already implemented, you need to refine it. You need to prepare your employee central system. What is that you need to do is, you have to go and prepare your employee central system for integration. So what exactly you are going to do here? You may have a doubt like, what do we need to prepare now once it is already implemented? See, employee central, first of all, it has to be implemented already. Then what do we need to do now? You are going to refine the system. You are going to refine your employee central system as for the integration you require, because there are some adjustments, some refinement that has to be performed in your employee central system. So now we are going to explain the step by step how to configure employee central, so that these settings that you are going to refine, it helps you to communicate the data to your employee central payroll. So now we need to communicate your employee central data to your employee central payroll. How are you going to do that? But now you need to prepare, you need to refine. So here within this area, this topic, preparing employee central system for integration, so objectives will be like accessing, we are going to access to update provisioning settings for employee central. The first objective. The second objective is admin access to employee central system. Next, you are going to configure SuccessFactors Employee Central as for the integration. Okay, so now we will just leave all this in a simple method. I'm going to show you, because there are so many steps we have. There are several steps which are required for the setup of your Employee Central to your Employee Central Payroll integration. There are several steps are there. I will show you step by step so that you don't miss anything actually. I'm going to open the content here. So because I don't need to type, if I type, it will take a lot of time. So what did I say here? SuccessFactors Employee Central. You see here, prepare Employee Central for integration with the Employee Central Payroll. This is what I started now. Correct? Am I correct? So here, there are several steps we have. How many steps we have here? Almost 14 steps we have. So what exactly you do within these 14 or 15 steps? You are going to refine the system. So what is the first thing that you are going to do? You are going to refine your succession data model. I hope you all know that how many data models we have in employee central system. Anybody is aware? How many data models we have in employee central system as for the current version? Anybody? Very good. How many used to be there earlier? Actually, how many were there? How many data models used to be there earlier from the beginning? 3, 7. The beginning, almost we can say till 2018, 19, we used almost 2018, we can say we used to use 7 data models. But as for the current version, we have 4 data models. So how many data models deprecated? Deprecated means replaced with a new functionality. So you no longer required those deprecated data models. What are those? You don't need to know, because you should know by this time. Otherwise, we will be out of topic now. So now there are so many steps are there. The first one is you need to refine your succession data model. Then you need to go and refine your MDF payment information object. And you also need to refine your corporate data model. You need to refine your MDF objects, refining or defining, uploading a pick list, and fiscal type, the custom field, work schedule. Why this work schedule custom field as it is added, I will be explaining when I come to this particular area. And then you need to go and enhance your succession data model and add a pick list for your custom field, work schedules, and configuration of your people profile, role-based permissions, and payroll configuration system, earliest retro check for payroll, and then validations against a payroll pay calendar. So these are all every single step we are going to perform without skipping any step actually. We are going to do that everything. But everything you work on, please make sure you are referring to the workbook. You are referring to the workbook. So that is why I have created a workbook, so that the workbook helps you to understand. So, but actually this is a modified workbook. The standard, in this modified workbook, in order to give a clear cut understanding to everyone, so you can see there is a replication tab. But actually in the standard, my voice, but actually everything is fine from my side, but okay, no problem. So you can see this is actually, you can see there is something called a replication tab. For example, the point is you should know from where we will get a workbook. Remember, you don't need to create any workbook. Workbooks are standard. They are being provided. Yeah, I don't know, but just use, yeah, mute somebody. So now here, I want to tell you about the workbook. See now, Actually, maybe as for your project manager or your project team lead is the one who is responsible to get your up-to-date latest workbooks from SAP Partner Edge. So when you go to the SAP Partner Edge, on the products section, you go to Employee Central Payroll, you will get a Employee Central Payroll integration workbook. See, this is actually the Employee Central Payroll, the standard one. So I'm going to open it. See, when you open this workbook, you can see. Sorry. Yeah, you can see this is not the one. Just a moment. Yeah, this is only one. You can see, remember the code. But actually, okay, you just imagine without a replication tab. In the standard workbook, usually what happen, you won't find this replication tab. But when you will add a replication tab, when you work on your requirement. So I have added a replication tab based on every single tab you have the data which is required. Everything I have set up here on the replication tab. Everything is here itself. So I have prepared everything so that we don't miss anything. Okay, but okay, that's we leave it. So now you can see here that the workbook you will find SAP SuccessFactors Employee Central Payroll. This is for USA. So you can modify it as you need, and you can see the payroll integration workbook. So you can go on enable editing. Then you can see the introduction. You will find you need to read it every point which is mentioned here. Then you will come to the TOC, which is a table of contents. So you can click on here the introduction and all the links here directly. For example, you want to access to the actions tab directly here. So click on these actions. Now you're on the actions second. You can jump back to TOC, which is a table of contents. So but okay. But now what you have to do is you have to work on the but okay, I'm going to give you this workbook, this updated one, and I will also give you the standard workbook so you can compare both of them so that you can know the difference. But here our workbook is completely a confidential one. Okay, so when you come to this, you will be knowing it everything. Don't worry, this is just the beginning. You don't need to worry about anything here. So as of now, I'm going to minimize it. But I want to tell you something here on the cover sheet. When you work for your client, please make sure when you edit, you should mention your client name here. Okay, some XYZ company name and all. Okay, so we will just come to this tab and you can see the overview, read everything and proceed. Okay, so now what is the first thing that you need to do is, what is the first step that we need to do when you prepare your employee central system for integration? You need to go and refine the succession data model. Are you all getting everything I'm trying to explain? Yes or no? You're able to follow? Right. So now in this particular step, we are going to refine the HRIS fields. But actually, even I told you, I think we should be aware about what do you mean by HRIS element? What do you mean by HRIS field? What do you mean by object definition? What do you mean by, the field definition? If you know that every single point I'm going to talk, it is going to be dead easy. If not, you are only just going to blindly look at it, and I'm sure a bit confusing. If I have to go and explain, it will take a lot of time again because that's a part of your employee central. But still, as we have a time, subsequently you can learn. So you have a time to know. So now in this particular step, in the refining of your succession data model, we are going to find out refining of your HRIS field attributes. What is that? HRIS field attributes. I hope you know what you mean by attributes. Some of the examples attributes means anybody? Anyone is aware about the attributes? Some examples? Yes or no? You are aware? Tell me. No, it's not a portlet. Yeah. Attributes are like, let us say, visibility is equal to, or like mandatory is equal to, something like that. Okay, visibility is equal to readable, something like we can have visibility, required attribute, visibility attribute, and etc. So okay, that's part of XML. So now in the XML, succession data model is a kind of XML template. True or false is not an attribute. Attributes are required. Required is an attribute. Required is equal to yes or no. Visibility is an attribute. Okay, right. So attributes are a simple type of definitions which helps you to, it helps you, we can say, the behavior of that particular field, whether it should be required, whether it should be optional, whether it should be visible, whether it should be hidden, something like that. So here the HRIS field attributes of your succession data model that are required for integration, as for your, again I tell you, as for your business requirement. As for your business requirement, we have to go and update the HRIS field attributes. For example, here in this particular example, I'm going to take one example as a location. So if I'm talking about location as a field. What is actually a location? It is an object. What kind of object? Location in Employee Central. Location is an object in Employee Central. What kind of object? Foundational object. But when this location object is added in the succession data model as a field, this becomes employment data. So in the succession data model, you will find a field as a location. For the location, as a one example, what you need to do, we have to go and refine. We need to go and update the attributes. What are those attributes? You should go and update the attributes. Visibility is equal to edit, and mandatory is equal to yes. So these are the two attributes that you should go and update. These are the two attributes that you are going to update for the location field within the succession data model. But you may have a doubt why this man is using sometimes as a location as a field, why this man is using location as an object. If we know what is exactly EC talks about, then we will know what I am talking about. See, again I repeat, location is a foundational object. Where do you configure a foundational objects? In the corporate data model. But now what did I say here? I didn't say about a corporate data model. I said succession data model refining. So in the succession data model, you have a field like location. So because why it is there as a field? Because it is an employment object now. So now the location object, you have to make it the attributes, the HRIS field attributes. What are they? Visibility is equal to edit. The mandatory is equal to yes, has to be set up as for your business requirement for integrating Employee Central Payroll. But this is just only one example. This is just only one example. But there are so many fields you can see on the replication tab. For example, company, location, cost center. You can see a lot of things: employee class, employment type, time of work schedule, pay scale type, and etc. etc. But now as an example, I'm going to show you for the location. Now you are only just setting up your system. You may ask what all these are. Don't worry, you have a time. You will know everything step by step. So as a point of understanding, where is a succession data model is located? In the succession data model. But remember, updating succession data model can be done two ways. One is from provisioning. The second one is directly from the admin center. Both I will show you. Okay, just give me a moment. Let me log into the provisioning and I'll show you everything. Okay, just give me a moment. So now I am on the provisioning. You can see here, click on a company name. Scroll down to the succession management link here. Now you can see there is a particular link. You please observe import export data model. Click on it. When you click on import and export data model, you can see there are two options you have here. Like you can see import and export. So what is the import? What is the export? The screen is maximized only. What kind of screen you are using in your laptop? The screen is maximized. I didn't minimize it. Right. So please go and click on export a file here and then click on submit. When you click on submit, now the file starts downloading. You can see here, click on save it. Now you can see the file already downloaded. You can see here, and I'm going to close the system now. Now, when you just go and open this, XML template or data model, open in your XML editor. You can see here XML pad. So I'm going to open it directly by clicking on this this succession data model. So now when you, open it, so now you should go and find out what kind of field, what is the field we are talking about? Location. What is that we need to do? We need to refine. If it is something else, instead of visibility is equal to is something else, instead of edit, you should change it to the edit. Mandatory is equal to, if it is no, it should be set is equal to yes. So I'm going to show you one method, but as for the current version, you don't need to come to the XML. Without XML, you can do it directly in admin center, but okay. But I'm going to click on here on the table view. So when you come to the table view, please expand this one. You can see here there is a particular section or a particular zone. We call it as a HRIS element. Please expand it. So when you expand this HRIS element section, now please go to the job info section. You can see here job info section, right? You please observe it slowly because I'm doing it slowly. Now you please come to the HRIS section and again expand it. And now comes, you can see there is something called org field list. Don't ask me what are all these, because you should know easy. Otherwise, it's very easy for you when I navigate like this. Okay, now you come to the HRIS field. What did I say here? HRIS field attributes. We need to refine HRIS field attributes for a location object. So come to this again. Now I am here on the HRIS field. Click on this HRIS field section. Now please go and see the location on the table view on a graphic view. If you want to look at an XML editor, go to the source tab. Now you will look at everything. You can see HRIS field. Okay, HRIS field, ID, location. Now you can see the visibility attribute, required attribute. What did I say? As for my requirement, visibility should be set up is equal to edit. The mandatory is equal to set is equal to yes. What is exactly in XML point of view? Visibility is equal to both. Both means you can edit, you can view. Required is equal to true. True means mandatory. False means optional. So you can change it, but now as for my requirement, it is okay. So you don't need to refine anything. But this is the one way you can do it. The second method is, now I'm not going to go, you don't need to make any changes. But I showed you as a one method. The second method is log into the admin center directly. Now please go to manage business configuration link here. You can see the manage business configuration is nothing but accessing your succession data model without using XML coding. Whatever the XML I have opened just now is nothing bad. You are, without touching this XML coding, you are directly accessing your succession data model from manage business configuration. Click on this. So when you come to this, and you can see HRIS element here also, look at my cursor here. HRIS element. What do you mean by HRIS element? You should know by this time. So now you can see here there is something called job info. HRIS element. The same thing I have accessed in the succession data model just now. Click on this job info HRIS element. Now you will be finding lot of HRIS fields within a job info HRIS element. So you can see there are a lot of HRIS fields. Now when you come slowly, you can find a location. You can look at everybody here. Now you are seeing exactly without XML coding. Okay, so when you come to this location here, now you can see there is something called a detail button. Click on this detail button. So when you click on that detail button, now you can see one moment. Right. So you can see that there is a particular option which I told you that visibility. You can see visibility. Why did I say visibility has to be set is equal to visibility edit? So do you need to make any changes here? Visibility is equal to, if it is something view, it should be set is equal to edit. So you don't need to make any changes. Are you all getting my point? Everybody? Yes or no? You are getting the point. So now you can see the visibility is equal to edit. The second attribute is mandatory is equal to yes. Sometimes why you need to come and do it here? Because it is your responsibility as a consultant when you prepare your employee central system for integration. So please make sure you are refining step by step every single step. Otherwise, replication won't be possible. Mapping will not work. Why you need to refine a simple thing? Suppose if this location field here is optional, if the location field in SAP HR is easy payroll system is optional, if it is required there, if it is optional, how are you going to map it? In your EC payroll system, if the location field is required, here in EC, location field also should be required. I hope you should get, I think you got the point now. So now mandatory is equal to yes, and then go and click on save it. So in the same way, you should refine every field in the succession data model. Okay, so once I've made some changes, scroll down to the bottom of the page and you please go and save the changes. Once you save the changes, the changes will be updated to the system and as well as into your backend your succession data model also. Okay, but even when I explain actually my EC classes, I always explain what kind of precautions, what kind of important notes that you should always take care when you work on EC system, because every point is valid. So now what I'm trying to say, I have taken one example for the location field only. So now what you need to do, I'm going to give you this workbook once you complete your classes. So you can keep it with you as a reference so that when you work like this, so you know what to do now one by one. So now you have to go to the company, you have to go to the cost center. You should go to the employee class, employment type, pay scale area, pay group, currency, every field in the succession data model. Please make sure these attributes of your HRIS field has to be updated, and remember, depending upon your business requirement. So this is the first thing you should do, because every step we cannot explain. Simple methods, simple steps. You should perform everything in your implementation. So we have done with the company. So if you want to do for the company, we have done for the location. You want to do it for a company, I'll show you once again. So now again, I'll click on job info again. So now it is in edit mode now. Okay. Now you can see the company here. Okay. Just a moment. So now you can see the company. Click on the details. Now you can see the mandatory is equal to yes. Visibility is equal to edit. So you should refer to the workbook and how to perform every single field which is required for a replication in the succession data model. You need to refine it. You have to refine it. So this is the first thing what we have done today. So like that, we have a lot of things to be done. Preparing your employee central. What are you doing now? You are preparing your employee central system for integration of your with your employee central payroll with the help of the point-to-point replication. So now, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So first of all, are you able to understand whatever I'm trying to explain, every single point? You're able to follow everything? Right, thank you. So tell me, Mr. Jackie, is it a theoretical or is it a practical? You should tell now. Thank you. So any questions? Okay, we'll see tomorrow. Okay, thank you so much. Bye everyone. Good night.